Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Overnight, the Russian army launched more than 50 strike drones and several missiles into Ukraine. In the aftermath, downtown Kherson city was struck, wounding 3 people in total. Now, on the front line, the Institute for the Study of War suggests that Russian forces may be changing the priorities of offensive operations in the Pokrovsk sector after several weeks of unsuccessful attempts to advance towards Konstantinivka. A video released by the Ukrainian military, meanwhile, shows that Russian forces recently advanced towards Pokrovsk. Also, Moscow's troops appear to be refocusing their attention on the area northeast of Pokrovsk towards Dobropilya after resuming offensive operations in the area in May 2025. The Institute recently assessed that these advances support both the capture of Pokrovsk and the creation of a salient that would allow Russian forces to try and capture Konstantinivka and the wider belt of fortified towns that form the core of Ukraine's defensive positions in the area. According to the Institute's observations, Moscow's forces have not achieved significant progress in the area west of Toretsk in the direction of Konstantinivka since early June 2025, so Russian command is likely temporarily abandoning these efforts in favor of more opportunistic advances in the direction of Pokrovsk. According to military journal reports, some Ukrainian units have begun to actively use a new class of suicide drones with terminal guidance systems. These UAVs operate on a different principle than most conventional FPV drones. After detecting and fixing a target, the drone switches to a fully autonomous mode and, most importantly, does not require external communication or operator support. In this way, it effectively bypasses electronic warfare systems that usually disable drones by blocking the signal. The drones have built-in navigation and targeting systems, probably based on optical recognition or thermal imaging. The operator fixes the target before the start or at the moment of approach, after which the drone will complete the attack on its own, even if it loses communication. This is an unmanned ball lightning on the battlefield, quiet, fast, and taking the enemy by surprise. In one of the combat zones in Ukraine, a Canadian-made Russian Senator armoured vehicle once again proved its reliability and literally saved the lives of Ukrainian soldiers riding inside. While performing a mission, a group of operators from the National Guard of Ukraine's Omega group came under attack from an enemy UAV. The direct hit occurred just as the assault element was deploying, when the armoured vehicle was still in the open. A few facts about Russian Senator. These powerful armoured vehicles were delivered to Ukraine as part of Canada's military assistance package. They are designed specifically to transport personnel in high-risk conditions, protecting the passengers against explosions, small arms fire and debris from suicide drones. let's talk about a key aspect of Russia's war in Ukraine, namely how Moscow is directing much of its offensive efforts specifically against the civilian population. Despite the daily risks, Ukrainian farmers in the Kherson region go out to the fields, not with machine guns obviously, but with combine harvesters. They are at the forefront of the country's food security, but in many cases, instead of thunder that heralds the oncoming storm, it is the ominous buzzing of enemy UAVs that forces them to run.
Дрон на машину летить! Тікайте! 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 Малого! Збили! Ура! Збили! Збили!
Поехали!
Unfortunately, if you thought that's all when it comes to Russia deliberately targeting civilians, we're afraid there is more, much more. Footage from Russian UAVs has been posted online showing deliberate strikes on Ukrainian rescuers, those who pull the wounded from the rubble, extinguish fires, and search for those who went missing after missile strikes. To be fair, by showing the footage of their own campaign of terror, the Russians have effectively confessed to their own war crimes. The targeting of rescuers qualified by international law as a gross violation of the Geneva Conventions. I'm quite sure that fire truck formed an existential threat to the existence of the Russian Federation. Now moving on, in the Kramatorsk area, soldiers from the Ukrainian 5th Separate Assault Brigade discovered a carefully camouflaged NONA self-propelled artillery system firing at Ukrainian positions. After refining the coordinates, strike drones inflicted a series of precise strikes that led to the complete destruction of the platform, along with its crew. This APC-based self-propelled artillery system is widely used by the occupiers for mobile artillery support. Apparently, the drivers of Russian military vehicles think they're really good at stealth. Well, apparently this doesn't really work that well. And also, one important point. The US has just announced that the deliveries of military equipment to Ukraine, primarily of the defensive kind, is about to resume, which of course is the good news. However, as you've seen, Ukraine uses drones and other means to also actively repel the Russians. This is where European allies actually might have a very important role to play, help Ukraine build its industrial base, so that we see, essentially, more videos of destroyed Russian equipment. Every single Russian tank gone is a single step towards peace, not just in Ukraine itself, but also on the European continent. And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Stay with us here on TVP World for more latest news, updates and commentary.